Hello, friends. James Stevenson back with another episode of Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today? It is also an episode of Dunkin on Munkin. Once again, the featured hater is the Tesla Q member in good standing, hiding behind the fake name Brad Munkin. As I check in with my co-host Loki, who can't even stand to look at this FUD perpetrated all week long by Brad Munkin, or the at Brad Munkin Motorhead account on X. I'll share with you how I became aware of one of these. It was being tagged by Cologne Flatard, who said, "That guy is such a sarsaparilla float." I'm cleaning this up for my family audience. Here's hoping James sees that and decides to roast him again with my tag here. I didn't do that in this thread. I couldn't resist replying to a couple of other threads we'll see shortly. What was this reply to? Well, it was executive producer of this program, Bradford Ferguson, owner of Rebellionaire.com, at Brad S. Ferguson on X, saying Cybertruck recall. I don't think there was a recall here. Cybertruck wiper motor works fine for me. In the first 2 weeks of ownership, it rained 13 of 14 days. Handled downpours like a champ. I would be surprised if mine needed a replacement, but wouldn't mind an upgrade. It's not a safety issue for all Cybertrucks. With a screenshot here of Motorhead saying they're going to do a recall on all Cybertrucks, it seems. The wiper motor is too weak for the huge wiper. This is a massive safety issue. Well, that's just not true. People have been testing their Cybertruck wiper motors, and they work fine to wipe the massive screen. Probably the engineers at Tesla figured out whether the motor was too weak or not before they approved the part to be shipped. Somebody replied with an example of Ford having to recall escapes this year over a potential fire risk from cracked fuel injectors, which sounds a little more dangerous than a weak wiper motor, wiper blade motor. Pretty funny bears have nothing else to talk about except the Cybertruck wiper blade. This is their last hope they're riding on to cover their short positions. Maybe it's the Cybertruck windshield wiper that'll finally bring Tesla down. Yeah. No one is addressing Ford's wiper motor recall earlier this year. It only gets talked about if it's Tesla. Has there been any indication that there's an issue? I would think this is probably just Brad hoping for bad press more than anything. The interesting thing is that it's not that complicated figuring out what power expected from those motors. What he is saying is it's a low probability and sourced in Trust Me Bro. Not sure if I understand that post exactly. 13 out of 14 days of rain, said FUD boss, Tesla Q member. I'm glad I don't live in Nebraska. Well, Bradford is probably also glad he doesn't live in Nebraska. He lives in Indiana. If you drive fast enough, the wind wipes the water away for you, said Jolted Bites. That's fun. What else do we have here? Is there a recall from Star Rec? I thought it was just a stop shipment because they got a bad batch of the windshield wiper motors from a supplier. I don't know if that's true or not. If you do, leave me a comment below. But either way, hilarious to see Brad Munkin flinging things at the wall, seeing what will stick. It feels like that wiper has about a 50 horsepower motor, said fellow Cybertruck owner Greg Carpenter. Yeah. Well, there's the obvious point from Fermi's pair of socks. If my wipers failed, I'd pull over. There you go. That's one way of handling it. All right, so what else do we have here? I'm not showing you anything you shouldn't see. This is just my DM to myself. I did find a couple of things that I wanted to show you during this video. Here's a different post from Motorhead this week. Imagine being this stupid with a screenshot of his interaction with Neil Bolton. He was just talking about how Tesla only has 192 service centers in the US. And he thinks since all Tesla cars are faulty and need service at the same time, that's 10,000 cars per service center. Neil said, lucky they're reliable, huh? They are reliable. They don't need oil changes as often as ICE cars do. Um, you never have to replace your muffler or your carburetor or your catalytic converter when you own a Tesla, or 100 other parts that don't exist in a Tesla because it doesn't burn dyno juice. I replied, imagine being this stupid. Oh, wait, you don't have to. With a screenshot of Motorhead Brad Munchen from October 14th of 2019, while getting his face ripped off shorting Tesla. He told me, this is a reply to me, my investment thesis is that the US has peaked for Tesla and Europe is next in Q4 of 2019. Then the only growth they'll have is $30,000 to $35,000 Model 3s in China. Financial failure in Q3 or Q4 of 2020 at the latest, said Brad Munchen. Why did he not mention Model Y? Because he thought it was a fake product that would not exist, or that Tesla wouldn't be able to produce in 2020 like Elon said they would. So that was pretty funny. I got some replies from folks here. Let me get on to the next one, though, before I show you too much more of those replies. Here's another post from Motorhead on June 18th. Fisker went bankrupt mostly because the owner is a moron. Tesla, hashtag Tesla, is still alive despite its owner being a moron. Not for much longer. With a screenshot of Fisker filing for bankruptcy, I replied, but an expert hedge fund manager of global automotive stocks assured me that Fisker was one of the safest bets. This is how Brad Munchen's bio used to read. Expert hedge fund manager of global automotive stocks. I added the word expert. I think he said hedge fund manager of global automotive stocks before. It says something different now. But yeah, here's the screenshot. This one was deleted. This one blocks me. And Motorhead Brad Munchen replied, yeah, I think the safest bets are probably Lucid if financed and Fisker. The dodgiest are probably Ride and Faraday, although there are so many EV SPACs these days, it's hard to keep up. Nikola might actually survive too, although that's just a hunch. The expert advice from this hedge fund manager of global automotive stocks on April 22nd of 2021. Definitely short Tesla, but not these companies. Not Lucid, not Fisker, both of which are down more than 99% from whatever they were trading at in 2021. Without looking, don't check to see if that's right or not. And lastly, in this video, Brad Munchen tweeted, before August 2023, ODI reviewed 956 total crashes where Autopilot was initially alleged to have been in use at the time of or leading up to those crashes. Well, these are not fatality accidents. The number is like one fatality accident, I think. So I replied, about 40,000 people die in traffic accidents every year in the US alone, not counting every other country in the world. And that's only counting fatality accidents, 40,000, which are a small fraction of total crashes. A Tesla using Autopilot is far safer than the average vehicle, with my chart here showing percent of vehicles in traffic accidents. If you're in the average US vehicle, and you drove it from 2019 through 2023, you had a 10% chance of being in a crash. If you were in a Tesla not using Autopilot, you cut your risk more than in half. And if you were in a Tesla using Autopilot, you had about 1/8 the risk of the average US vehicle. So I got more likes here on 15,000 views than he got on 6,000 views. Let's see the other tweets here. Yep, I made a video about that one. Was this one a ratioing? This was 249 likes on 6,000 views. He got 71 likes on 10,000 views. And imagine being this stupid. 393 likes on 7,000 views to his 100 likes on 11,000 views. So that was this week in ratioing Motorhead Brad Munchen, and that is your episode of Dunkin on Munkin for this week, right, Loki? Unless you got anything to add. Loki seems content with the content of this week's episode. So with that, I will outro by thanking you for watching this video, remind you to like the video, to let the algorithm know to recommend this video to others like you who may like this video. If you hit the thumbs up on YouTube or the heart on X. Special shout out to my two executive producers, Kenthy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, and I'll see you in the next one.